morning children. Yesterday we have completed about respiration. Today let us move on to the next life process. Before I introduce the topic, let me introduce about what you have learned in your 9th standard regarding blood as a connective tissue. You have learned blood is a fluid tissue which is responsible for certain functions like supplying food, oxygen, removal of waste materials and so on. So today let me introduce the process circulation. Or it is also called transport. So, transportation system in human beings. You have learned that transportation or biological term of circulation means transportation of materials from one place to another place. Now, for transportation of materials, actually some liquid medium is required. So, transportation system consists of three main components. That is blood, pumping organ and blood vessels. Blood, it is a liquid tissue. The important fluid medium of blood, it is called plasma. It is the plasma which is going to transport all the dissolved food materials like glucose, fatty acid, amino acid and also some hormones. All these substances are carried by the plasma of the blood. Now coming to this pumping organ. In human body, the pumping organ is called heart. Heart, it is a muscular pumping organ. Let us know the parts of the human heart. And you know that heart is conical in shape and it is present in between the two lungs. It is about the size of our fist, only one fist we say. The heart is conical in shape and it is slightly tilted towards the left. I think you must have heard at home also your parents say, when you get up in the morning, please try to get up from the right side. It is not a superstitious belief. Here the scientific reason is, as our heart is slightly tilted towards the left, we are not supposed to put more pressure there and then get up. So it is a muscular organ with conical in shape and the heart is protected by a double layered membrane called pericardium. It is a double layered membrane because in between the membrane there is one type of fluid. This fluid is called pericardial fluid. The pericardial fluid will protect the heart from the friction that is obtained during the contraction and relaxation of the heart, and it will also protect the heart from the external shock. Now coming to the chambers of the heart. We say the heart has 4 chambers. The top 2 chambers are called atria or auricles. The top 2 chambers are given the name right auricle, RA and right, then left auricle, then right ventricle, left ventricle. These are the 4 chambers of the heart. The top 2 chambers are called the receiving chambers and the bottom two chambers are called the distributing chambers. One speciality of the human heart is there is a wall in the center, it is called septum. It is this septum which is going to separate the right side of the heart and the left side of the heart. So there is no mixing up of the impure blood and the pure blood. So it is the septum is very important. Now coming to the blood vessels that are associated with the human heart. There are two large veins. One is called superior vena cava and inferior vena cava. Now only I will give you the function of these two main blood vessels. The superior vena cava is going to collect the impure blood from upper part of the body, and inferior vena cava is going to collect the blood from lower part of the body, and it is going to pour that impure blood into the right auricle. Then there is one other important blood vessel which rises in the right ventricle. It is called pulmonary artery. The pulmonary artery will take the impure blood to the lungs for purification. Then from the left ventricle, the largest blood vessel of the human heart arises. It is called aorta. It is this aorta which is going to distribute, it has several branches, it is going to distribute the pure blood to the different parts of the body. So now, this is with reference to the structure of the human heart and the main blood vessels that are associated with the human heart. Now let us see how the circulation of blood is carried on. I told you just now, like the superior vena cava and inferior vena cava, they are going to collect the impure blood from different parts of the body and pour it to the right auricle. So when impure blood is filled in the right auricle, simultaneously the pure blood will be brought from four veins are there. It is called pulmonary veins. The pulmonary veins will bring the pure blood and pour it to the left auricle. So when before pouring into the left auricle will be in a relaxed position. Similarly, before the right auricle gets the impure blood, it will also be in a relaxed position. When there is impure blood filled in the right auricle and pure blood filled in the left auricle, we say these two chambers of the heart, they contract. So first, these two chambers of the heart contract simultaneously. Then there is a valve between the right auricle and the right ventricle. It is called tricuspid valve. Here the valve between left auricle and the left ventricle, it is called bicuspid valve. There is a valve here. It is called bicuspid valve. So as soon as these two auricles contract, then the respective valves will open. Then till the left ventricle and the right auricle and the left ventricle, till the right ventricle and the left ventricle, till they get the blood, they will be free. The moment the impure from the left auricle, pure blood will enter the left ventricle, then this will also get filled with the blood, and here from the right auricle to the right ventricle, the impure blood will enter, then the valves will be closed. There is an efficient mechanism of opening and closing of the valves. Therefore, when once they come to the respective chambers, again they cannot go back. Now simultaneously the two, that is this this is right ventricle and the left ventricle, both of them will contract. When these two contracts, this pulmonary artery will take the impure blood to the lungs for purification, and then the aorta will take the purified blood to the different parts of the body, and like this there is an excellent arrangement. It will get simultaneously pure blood is distributed to different parts of the body, and again the blood becomes impure and the two large veins will bring back the impure blood to the right auricle. So this is how the circulation of blood takes place, and we say the blood has to enter 2 times hard in the process of this circulation. So human blood circulation is given the name double circulation. So double circulation is an efficient mechanism wherein pure blood is distributed to different parts of the body very well. There is a comparison here now. Let us know, for example, if we take up the fish. In case of fish, we say the heart is only 2 chamber. Here the heart is only 2 chamber, and another thing you have learned in your lower classes, like fish is a cold-blooded animal. So cold-blooded animal means these animals will not have a constant body temperature. They keep on changing the temperature according to the surrounding. So here the blood enters whenever there is a circulation of blood. We say when water flows over the gills, at that time only the fish is going to take up the dissolved oxygen, and the dissolved oxygen is directly distributed to the different parts of the body. So blood need not enter 2 times here. The energy to keep its body warm here, every now and then according to the surrounding it will adjust. Whereas in case of animals like birds and mammals, we say there is a constant use of energy, and also they are warm-blooded animals. They cannot vary their body temperature every now and then. They must have constant body temperature. Therefore, we say the circulation of blood is very, very important. Another important function of blood is to also maintain the temperature of the body. So, therefore, here through this blood double circulation, what happens is there is no mixing of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. So very well, only oxygenated blood is getting circulated to entire body, and without that mixing up, therefore it is an efficient method of blood circulation, we say. So this is with reference to how there is difference in the presence of number of chambers of the heart, and what are the advantages of having 2-chambered heart. And then one more, in case of reptiles and amphibians, we say they have 3-chambered heart. Here there is no septum, therefore there is slight mixing up of blood, but the animal is capable of tolerating that, and the work efficiency will be accomplished there. Now, this is with reference to blood circulation. Now, you should also learn about some I think now you have understood the advantage of double circulation, and also the presence of wall which is separating the right side of the heart and the left side of the heart. So tomorrow in the next class, let us take up about in little bit detail about the components of blood.